Okay, so finally we get to start creating our sign up page. The last time we stopped at the login page, so we finalized everything on the login and it looks really nice. Now, how about the sign up page? It needs so much work, that's all we can say. But it doesn't, because everything that we did on the login, it will be more and the same. The structure will be the same, the header section will be the same, the title will be at the same place. The only things that are going to change are the input fields. For example, here instead of having only 2 fields, we will have your username, we'll have your email, we will have password and then confirm password, and then the button will be the same, and then this will also be the same styling, because we'll have, instead of don't have an account yet, we should be having already have an account, login here, and then they click login, they go they come back to the login screen. So that tells us that because most of the contents are going to be reused, then it will be best to refactor them. That means that the first step we are going to do, we will first create the login, we will first create the sign up page. Then after that, we are going to refactor all these sections that are reused, and one of those sections is the input field. The other one is the button, and we already actually have a shared header component, so that stays as it is. And I think that's it, a brief introduction of what we'll be covering in this section. So 2 things. The first thing, creating the sign up page. The second thing, refactoring, or rather reusing, or rather refactoring the components that are going to be reused. And in this case, we have said we'll be refactoring only 2 components, and if others need to be refactored, we are going to refactor. So I believe that's it. Let's get started. Okay. If we open our sign up component, this is how it looks like, and then all we need to do is to start like the way we did for login. By default, we have no styles provided, so we have to create our own styles in the TS file. And then if you recall how we namespace them, this we can actually bring it down here, and then we can say export constant styles, and then it's just style sheet.create. And then, as we said, we are going to be reusing almost everything that is there in the login. So what I want us to do, but for you, I encourage you to like type out the code that so that you can understand it. That way you will know, okay, this is how this was working, this is how this was going. But for now, to save time, we will actually just copy all this, come here, we paste it. And then instead of having auth login, we just change this back to sign up, and that's it. So our style are somehow there. Let's start from that. Then with the next part that we are going to do a bit of maybe modifying or copying from is the auth component itself, the auth login component. We copy all this, okay, and then we come here, we paste, and then we just copy this name. And then we go all the way here, we paste this. Then you notice that why is it complaining for the auth component? Because the styling, this is not the login style. It's like we need to use the sign up. Okay, so we remove this. So we say auth sign up styles. This is what we are going to be using, and then we just find it. Control F to find, Control H to replace, and then we just replace all, so that the error is fixed. And then anything else we need here, maybe let's see, and then instead of this, okay, we will get to that in a few. So this is how actually now our sign up screen looks like. Okay, so many changes in such a short time. So instead of now having login, we are going to start those changes. The first change is this, we are going to have here sign up. This is the button. This button, yeah, actually let's, instead of sign up, we say create account. Okay, so it's create account, and then the title, instead of login, the title should now be sign up. And then don't have an account yet, we say that we are going to say I already have an account, login. here, or let's say already have an account, login here. So that's it. And then instead of sign up, it should take us to the login screen. So if we click here, expectation is that we go to login. We click don't have an account here. Now we're in the login. So if we click sign up, we should go to sign up and we should see this. Okay, so far so good. Then the other important thing we need to update is the text input fields. We say that we are going to add two more fields. The first field is the username. The first field you are going to be adding is the email. Like for example, your email, how like you are going to maybe be logging into the account, and then we are going to add a full name. Like so, full name. Let's say set full name field, and then we have like email. This is full name. Then this is email. Set email. Okay, and then password is still there, but now we have to add another confirm password field, whereby set confirm password. Okay, so our validations for the form still remain the same because it's just a form. It's just that it has additional fields. So what we'll be changing here is how we validate, how we do the validation. So how are we going to do the validation? First of all fields will be required. That's the first step. Then the other check is to make sure that the passwords actually match one another. And then I believe that's it. We will not be doing email validation to check if the field is actually a valid email. Like that is out of the scope, but I encourage you to just go try, play around with it. That is a learning experience on your end. Then when the user submits a form, the form should actually have the full name, which we will be sending to the backend. The other thing is the email, which we'll be sending to the backend, and the password only. We will not need confirmed password. So I believe that's it. So let's start here actually in the validation. So here, like this effect will depend on changes. You remember how we talked about effects and the dependency array, whereby an effect will be triggered whenever something in its dependency array changes. In this case, when the username changes, and sorry, we don't have username anymore, we have email, and then we have the full name. Actually, we have full name, email, password, and confirm password. Whenever all these change, then we have to recalculate the validity of the form. So in this case, we are going to say if this is the first check we are going to make. So let's actually do this. I normally do this. Maybe you have another option or another alternative. That is the first part, and then this is the second check that you are going to make. This way we are going to be sure that we have covered all cases. So for example, if full name and email and password and confirm password, if all these are there, well, the form is valid. Not really. These two, they actually have to be the same. They have to match. Okay, so we are going to do another check in here. So if password and confirm password, if password and confirm password, okay, if password equals to confirm password, we are now going to say, okay, the form now is valid. So here let's actually just do console log form is valid, else the form is not valid, invalid on password, check. And then otherwise, in this case, if either of these are empty, that means our form, whole form, or a field is missing in the form. Okay, so let's walk through this. Now this one actually moves from here and it comes here. Okay, we can put it there. So we say like all fields will be required. This is the first check. So all these, if they are required, are they there? Yes. If they are not there, then the form should be invalid. Okay. Then the other thing is to check if the password is equals to the confirmed password. If it's the case, then the form is valid because it already has a full name and an email, and it also has passwords which match. Otherwise, it's invalid in the case of passwords not matching. So that's just it. Like we are going to say, you notice that this will be duplicate. If we, like for example, say like set form is valid, we say maybe in this case, or actually let's do it like form is valid. In this case, it will be false because a field is missing. Then also here, invalid on password check, form is valid, no. Then this is the only case where the form will be valid, so this will be a truthy. So we can remove this, we remove this, and we remove this. Okay, so this one should actually work in theory, and for us to test it out, we need to actually get values that we are going to be testing it with. So we added 2 more states here, 2 states for like full name, email, password, and confirm password. So we have 4 states, yeah. And then here now, instead of having your username, like the username will be the full name, your full name, and then when the new value is there, set full name, yeah. And then the password, so here we just copy this and then we paste here for the email, okay, for the email, and then set email field, okay. So and then the other field is the password and then confirm password. So we still keep the password field and then confirm password. Okay, so set confirm password. So we have set user password, set full name, set email field, set user password, set confirm password. So far so good. We save this. We should now have that additional the additional fields that are there. But then why does it move like down? That means like we need to actually style it a bit so that in our container we have our header section and we have our content section. We gave it a flex of 4, so now we can say maybe let's give it a flex of 8, that so that the contents, they are actually at the top here. Okay, so we can see that everything now is falling into place. Let's now give it a test run and see. Okay, first of all, our fields, can we type into them? Yes, all the fields, they are visible. Then the other thing is we ask ourselves like about the validity of the form. Let's start here. So we will be testing like, first of all, when we fill all these fields, then the button should be clickable. Okay, and then the email is maybe test mail.com, password is 123, confirm password 123, 4, it's invalid. But then if we say like 123, we should have it as valid because now everything checks out. Okay, good. So if we like try and submit this form, as I said, like this will be a really quick one, so I believe we are almost done. We try and submit it, so we will see the email is this, full name is Benson, and then the password is 123. And that's it. That's just it. Like we have finally closed the loop because most of the hard work was in the login component, because it's where we had to understand what states are, what everything is. So I encourage you to like familiarize yourself with the flow that we had in the login. And again, here is just like completely like duplicating everything that we did before. So as we see, like we go to the login screen, we get to this, and then we come back to the sign up screen, we get to this, and that's it. So the next step now we are going to do is, we have seen like duplication of sections, like we have duplicated this part and this part, and also these things, they are there in the sign up, in the login screen. This is not ideal. And also we'll find we'll also have input fields in other parts of the application, such as creating like new personal journal entries. It's best to actually refactor this, and actually that's what we want to do now. We need to refactor this, and by doing that we will have an easy time going forwards. And you'll find that even applying themes to application, applying themes to our code base, it will be so easy when we have shared components in React Native. Okay, so let's get started with the refactor part. Okay, so the refactoring will involve us, you see, like in the presentation folder, we have our shared folder, and if you recall, we have the header that we are actually using even here, which is this one in the sign up, and it's also being used also in the login screen. Okay, so far we have only one folder here, but we want to add a new folder, and this folder we will call it text input. Okay, and the text input folder is what will have our shared input fields. These input fields, they can be used whether the user is logged in or logged out, they can be used. So all we need to do is to create a new file here, and then we'll call it shared, or even let's say input field component .shared tsx. Then we just come here and we say we want to export a constant component, so we name specifically shared input, and then we say this. Okay, then we return a view, and actually not a view, we don't need to complicate this because it's an input. It's just this, like the text input. This one is what will just go here. Okay, so for now what we are going to do is just return a text input, okay, from React Native. Let's see this. So let's give it a placeholder, a mock placeholder. I am a shared input, and then here we are going to say this component itself, this shared input, we need to add like this import React. Okay, so it will also have styles. Remember, we said one thing: when you have the project set up in like component styles, you make things really easy for yourself. Down the line, it's always going to be easy. So one thing we have to have in mind is that different sections of the application may require a different look and feel for that shared component. Yeah, and then the other thing is this component. Yeah, for example, in the auth already knows that I have a field. Signup already knows that I have a field called full name, and the full name field, it emits a value that is the current value of the full name. So how are we going to emit a value, okay, from a shared input field back into the parent? That's one thing like we will be tackling. So we'll be asking ourselves, how do we do that? Like one, let's see the things that we are going to tackle. One, how to return value back to parent. Okay, then the other thing, how to customize field as per parent requirements. Okay, so here we are going to say, let's see, remember that a React component is just a function. Yeah, this is just a function. A function accepts inputs, then it does something with the inputs, then it returns something. So in that, like with that idea in mind, we have this. So one thing, our component, it will accept custom styles. Okay, and these custom styles, they can be an object of anything. It can be like index structure. Yeah? So we have a style. Okay, and then the style, sorry, 1 minute. So we have I believe it's like this. Let's see, how is index structure? Okay, I believe it's like this. We have the key, which is a style, or we can call it style, and then the style is of a type string, and then it can have any value, where the value can be a number, it can be a string, so we have any. Okay, so we save this. So that means we can pass in a custom object without having any patterns being conformed to. Then the other thing we need from this text input is to pass in, for example, you see, this one is a password field, this one is a text field, this one is a text field, this one is a password field. So there are those custom properties that are going to affect our input field. For example, this one, it can be a secure text like we saw, or it cannot be. So like we can say is secure text entry, which is a boolean. Okay, then the other thing we are going to pass in, or rather pass out, it's more like we are passing it by in, but we are emitting. So on new value, okay, so this one will be a function. This way, when the value changes, we call this on new value, we pass into it the new value, then it will return the new value to the sign up component. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so now when we look at this section here, let's actually drag this a bit here. I believe this is visible. Okay, so when we come here, all we need to do is we access the custom styles, and then is secure text entry, and then on new value. This is going to help us now easily understand anything we are going to be calling. For example, where we are anywhere we are going to invoke the shared input field component, it will expect us to pass custom styles. And actually, if the custom styles are not required, you can just do them like this. You just have a question mark to say that this is optional, but let's have it like that. Then is secure entry text, this is also optional, and then on new value, this is a required one. So we have said we have two optionals, so we can have them this way. So the text input field, it should have style. Okay, the styles that it will receive, it can have its own styles. Yes, for example, in this case, we can say shared input field styles export constant, styles will be style sheet. We create, then we say maybe the default styles that we are going to use, maybe we'll see they will go here. Okay, then we have the custom style. So how do we combine the two? We combine the two like this. You remember the spread operators that we had, like doing this custom styles, and then again we say maybe sorry, and then we say maybe shared input component styles dot something blah, like that. So what we are going to do is this, we have the custom styles, then here 1 minute, we just spread the custom styles that we have received. Then these custom styles, they will actually be combined together with the shared input styles. Okay, so if there are any shared styles here that we have specified for us, like for ourselves, maybe field value or container, because on its own it's like an input field, we can say, like for example, input wrapper or container, you say like it has an outline, or just a minute, border color of maybe, and then border width of 1, and then also a border radius of maybe 6. Okay, so for us to use these ones, like we see, this is a key value property, but then this is actually a fully object. But what we want is we want to spread, okay, the specific property for the container. So this one will be spreading the container's value, these ones. Now what will happen is this. For example, if we pass in a border color as a custom style, as a border color of maybe red, it will override the default one. And as we said, different sections may need different look and feel for their inputs. Okay, so here is secure text entry. Is secure, oh, the other thing we need to say is, for example, the placeholder also. Yeah, that's another thing. We have our placeholder which will be a string. String will pass in as a custom also. Yeah, I'll pass it in as a custom field. Okay, so we have placeholder as placeholder. Okay, so we have our text input, and then we will say like secure text entry equals to is secure text entry. So if it is a secure one, for example, in this case, full name, we will not pass in true because it's not a secure, but for passwords, we'll pass in true. Then finally, on new value, on change text, okay? So the new value, which is a string, when it's emitted, we want to call on new value with a new value, okay? And that should be it. Like that's just all that will go for our components. So let's recap quickly. So this is a shared input field. It takes a placeholder, custom styles, whether it's a secure field, and a new value that is emitted. Then it will apply the custom styles, overriding any default styles that have been specified. Then it will accept a placeholder, and then it can actually be secure or not, as you have said. And then on a new value, will be called whenever the change in text is detected. Okay. So let's apply this one actually the first time on our full name. So we will comment this out for now, and then here we'll do this. So it's complaining. Why? Remember, you have to import it like as usual. Make sure to import the component, not the styles, the component. Then one thing you may wonder, like, how does React know this is a component that is imported? Just as in normal programming patterns, a function can be called anywhere, and in React, as we said from the start, these are function-based components, meaning they can be called by anyone who wants to use them, and they can return a value, and the value they return in this case is a renderable content. For example, text input, and the other time we saw like we had to refactor the shared auth header section. So far I believe that is clear. So why is it complaining? As we said, we will have a pattern that we need to call this component. One is placeholder, and this is required, and the on new value is actually also required. So when we hover, we will see that it's missing some properties, placeholder, and then this custom styles, but the two that are required are placeholder and on new value. These two, they are optional. Custom style is optional, and also is secure text entry is optional. Okay, so when we see that, all you need to do is to say, okay, first of all, I need a placeholder for this field. What was our placeholder before? It was your full name. Okay, so we say that. And then the other thing is on, and then autocomplete works in your favor. And then we can say here we say new value. Let's do this. And this new value, remember what it's being attached to. It was being attached to setting the full name field. So this new value should also be setting our full name field, and that should be it. If we save this, we see unfortunately it doesn't appear very well as it was appearing before. So why is that the case? We have not applied stylings for the input field. We have only applied stylings for the outlook. Like you see the border, it's okay. The border radius is okay. So let's even test this out to give it a background color of maybe red. Okay, so you see like it's appearing as expected, but it's in the shared part. So how do we go about this? Let's see. We can actually, in theory, the styles that we already had for our fields, we can just pass them in here like these custom styles. We pass them in like that, and then if we save this, why isn't it working? Yeah, why is it not showing us the value that we expect? Like we expect it to give us what was it? We expect it to give us yeah, we expect to have a border color of, yeah, border color is the same, but the text and the size and the color, why are they not working as expected? It's because we have not passed in a configuration for the placeholder. So in our case, like our placeholder, remember when we had here placeholder text color, yeah? So we need the same, like you're passing configuration. So our placeholder, it should no longer be a string. Rather, we can have the value, and then we have the style or color also as a string. This way, we are going to be passing in an object that can actually be applied. So here we'll say placeholder dot value, okay, and then we say placeholder color, it will be placeholder dot color, okay. Then here you notice it's complaining now. All we need to do is to say it is an object that has a value, and then you notice when you want to pass in an object, you have to enclose the object that you are passing in curly brackets, okay. So it's a double, and then your content goes in there. Value is that, and then the color in this case is black, okay. Then as you see, we just saved and then it updated. So if we change this to red, it should also change, okay. So that is good. I believe it really looks nice. We can remove this, then we can test. Let's actually test it now. We see like what will happen, yeah, whether we will have a value emitted or whether our form will be valid. So remember, this is the only field we have made the change to. So let's say email is maybe example, then the password will be maybe password 1. So this is invalid because we haven't changed this one. So let's change to the new value, and then it's okay, it works. And actually it's because of the whole loop. Now the loop is closed. We have the shared component, and then the shared component, it's called, it does all that it needs to do. And actually this one we still need to use it, dot container. So it does what it needs to do, the shared component, then it emits the value that it needs to emit. So let's quickly just duplicate this. We replace the email section also. So here we'll be setting email. So I encourage you to actually what is it, do it yourself, yeah, do it yourself. Everything that I'm doing, just do it yourself. Don't copy and paste, do it yourself, that you may get to understand the whole flow. And then so this is a real test. We are saying we are going to be passing secure text entry. So here this is a password field, so we are going to say everything will be the same as it was, and then the thing that will change for this field is this, is secure text entry. It will be true. And actually let's just test the waters to see if our theories are right or not. We will say here in confirm password, okay, we say this to be false, so that we see the difference between the two, okay. So that is okay. And then the email is mail, let's just say mail, and then password is 1 2 3 4. This is secure text, and then this is not secure text, okay. And then even if they are not secure text or not, they'll be the same, like, and this 1 2 3 1 2 3, so it's valid. So let's change this to a secure text, and then when we save, it's actually okay. And again, when we create an account, it will give us the same behavior as before. So that is good. I like how it turns out. So that part is finally done for the shared input field. And then we have solved how to return value back to parent, and we have solved how to customize as per parent requirements. I believe we can remove this documentation. Then the other thing we need to customize is this, the button itself, because it's duplicated in login and also in sign up. So it's best to also refactor it. So let's do that right now. Let's close the input fields, and then we create a new component here, button. And actually we can have different types of buttons. We can have small buttons, we can have large buttons, we can have like maybe what can we say, like buttons without a background, buttons of different sizes. So for now, let's just go with just one, like very simple button, like button component that is shared. Then we say here okay, and then we return a view, and not even a view. Let's actually start off right now, so that at least we point in the right direction. Let's look at our login. login or sign up, it doesn't matter, because either way the button will go to both places. But let's try with yeah, let's go with login, so that at least it's not biased. So in the login section we have this part, the button itself. As we see, this button, it has underlay color, it has an event, and it has text, and the text has a styling. And then this button, it can actually have a styling itself. Yeah, so that means we have to focus on a couple of things. The first thing we need to focus on is this part. Where is it? Is this part. First of all, why this is important is that the text may be differ, like it may differ based on different views. One view may require a text to have a Poppins font. Another view or another use case may require the text to be Roboto. So let's begin by that in mind, understanding that maybe problems to solve. The first one is button style. The second one is the text style. The third one is the event emitter. Emitted. The fourth one is what could be the fourth one? Let's see, to underlay color. The fifth one is let's see, is there anything, whether the field disabled or not. And then the sixth is what can we have here? I think that should be it. That should be it actually. So let's start. Okay, so the first thing we are going to pass in are button overrides, or even style button, or we have a style overrides, and then this one should be an object whereby we have button styles, and again it's a style index signature, it is a string, and then this one is, it can be any, and then here we have the text styles. Okay, so far so good, and then these are optional. Okay, then the other thing we are going to need is the text style, like the text style and the button. So we have condensed these two into one. So this one are done, and then the event emitted, and then on button press is a function that will be called, that is done, and then underlay color string, and then is this able, which is a boolean. Okay, so when we come and we say, like again, we just get those properties that we need: button press, underlay color, and then is disabled. Okay, then we can, let's just do this, like we can copy this whole section. Okay, or we can type it out, but let's just, to save time, let's just copy this, and then we just say we return. Can actually do this. So we return touchable highlight. We get an error because we don't have it. We just import it from React Native, and then what else to do? We need to import React, and then I believe that should give us much better look and feel. So here we don't need this anymore. All we need is to pass in like the styles that we need. So the touchable highlight, which is our button, let's remove this one. We remove this, then you just say style overrides dot button. Okay, then this one, remember, it is like, it should be spreaded, like we spread it, the value, and then the underlay color should be the underlay color, should not be an empty, because different views may require different underlay colors. Then on submit, we bind it to on press. Okay, then the text itself should also have override, style overrides, Where is it? Style overrides. Dot text. Okay, then whether it's disabled or not is like that, but finally we need a button text, okay, which is a string. All right, so we get to use this one right here. Okay, sorry, it's not double is for Angular. So here, okay, so far so good. So will this work out of the box? Let's give it a shot and see. We begin by commenting out. So let's see, first of all, the styles are applied, the text is applied, the event is emitted, underlay color is set, and the disabled or not. That is okay. So here, all we need to do, let's comment this out. Okay, then we come and we say this is our button component. It's a self-enclosing, and then I believe we should say shared, because it's shared button component. Okay, all right. Then it has to be passed into it a few inputs like style overrides, which is optional, but then on button press we are binding it to something, which is this. Okay, then we have underlay color. Underlay color, we are binding it to empty string. Then we have whether it's disabled or not, we are binding it to something which is the validity of the form. So it will be disabled if the form is not valid. Then we have the button text, which we are binding it to login. Finally, let's just save this one so that we see like what we have. We have nothing, but when we click, you see like we are seeing something. It's because we have not styled. So we need to pass in the styles, all right? So we have style overrides. And this style overrides is an object that you are passing in. That's why we have brackets inside a bracket. So banana inside banana. Because banana looks like this, then we are passing in banana. So like the first banana we are passing in is a button. Okay, and then it will be this one. Whatever this was is what we'll be using. And I believe, let's just comment this like that so that we can see what this value was. We can copy this and we pass them here, or what we can do actually, you see this is an object, yes, is an existing object. So what if we just take this, okay, then we pass it in right here? What will happen? An error. Let's see how we can refactor this and resolve it actually. Okay, so it's a button. So if the form is valid, then we want to do something, otherwise we want to do something else. So let's see how we can clean this up in just a minute. Okay, so like we have our style overrides. Okay, so we will go to have like a button, as I said, like a banana, and then like we have our button, it can be enabled or not. And then our text, they don't have like they are agnostic, yeah, agnostic of the state. So text will be okay. Let's see. So we see like here, so we can see a text here. So how about the button? We know that our button, it can exist in two states, and one state is the state of being valid. Okay, so if it's valid, okay, then we need something, otherwise we need something else, and that's it. So if it's valid, we need this. Okay, if it's not valid, we need the whole of this part, like that. We save it, and then that's it. So, and we can test it out. Let's see. One, and then the password is, and then we can click, we can submit. But when I click, nothing happens. So it's because here we're invalidating, and then here again we're invalidating. So we just need to remove this, then it should be okay. Yep. So if we remove the password, we cannot click on it. If we set it, we can click. Okay, that is good, and that's a great catch. So be very careful. Like we invalidated here by we did the check already in the parent, and then again we were doing the check in the button component itself. All right, that was a great one. Okay, so let's use this again in the sign up. This component, you can just copy it, take it all the way to sign up, and then everything should actually work, because there is no much difference between the two. And then let's continue sign up, touchable highlight, which is this one. We can just paste it here, then that sign up component, and then this is sign up, and then everything is as it was before. So we say like everything is okay. I click, I disable it by maybe invalidating one field. I cannot click. Okay, and that's it. So you see how easy it will be for you down the line. You don't need to like create new touchable highlights each and every place. So if you want to change maybe how your custom button looks, maybe you want to style it maybe based on maybe the theme, the dark mode, things like those, you'll just need to change one place. So the other thing we need to refactor are the input fields for the login section. All right, so here we will start with this one. We just paste it here, we paste it here, we copy this, copy that, paste there, and then this one we just import it. Then we set the user password as your username, and actually this one will now change to be your email. Yes, which is the user's email, so we can remove this. So set username field, and then what else? The password is actually going to be your password, and then it's going to be a secure and true. Then that's it, nothing else. So the user set the password, then we can safely remove this, and that should be it. So if we go to login, we have your email and your password. So if that is your email, then let's change this one to email instead of password, so that at least it makes more sense. Saved email, and then this one like that, then set email field. All right, so the email is Ben maybe, and then the password is 1. That is okay. So we have gotten rid of all our inputs, and then let's just clean up a bit to remove this from there. Let's clean also up here to remove this from there. So we should be having just one place where we need to change our input fields, how they look, how they feel, and I believe that is a good place to stop at this point, so that the next time now it will be adding I believe it's state management, so that we can actually add Redux, and we can have the thanks, so that we can send these forms back to our backend for validation and submission. So I think we have gotten far now, and I think we have learned a couple of things. So I think that's it. So let me know what you think. Let me know how this tutorial is for you, and I think if you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to add them. Okay, or hopefully see you in the next one. Thank you.